Hi, and welcome to this look around our Honwave T38 IE3. This is a boat that we bought in end of May 2022, so it's the latest model. So the purpose of this video really is to give you a good look over the boat itself, how we set it up for us. And the reason I'm making it is because when I was looking for videos on the Honwave, there are bags of them on YouTube, but they tend to be of the older models, and so I thought it would just be helpful for people who are looking to buy a Honwave now, now that there finally is stock available, to have a look at the new IE3 versions. It is an air deck, which means that it has two high pressure air chambers that form the hull of the boat, and it has three additional tubes, two at the side and one at the front, with a solid fiberglass transom. Okay, before we go any further, let's have a quick look at the underside of the hull. You can see how the hull is shaped by these two inflatable deck pieces here, so relatively flat at the back, kicking up quite nicely at the front there, and that's what gives it its stability in the water, but also enables it to plane more effectively. So the boat is 3.8 meters long. It is 1.7 meters at its widest part, which is at the back here. It narrows quite markedly to the front, and it kicks up a little bit to the front as well. You can probably see there, if I get down a little bit, you can see it does actually kick up quite a bit. It's got quite a good V-hull, so it does have quite a lot of planing capability and stability, which is great. So let's go around the boat and give you a bit of a tour. So where should we start? Let's start at the transom. So the transom is made of fiberglass, and mounted on that transom there is a 20 HP Suzuki. This is a 4-stroke EFI engine, which means it's electrically fuel injected. It doesn't have a carburetor. It is batteryless. So that's also good, and it is one of the lightest engines of its size and type. It weighs about 45 kilos. You'll see from the video it is manageable with one, although you would not want to walk any significant distance, and when I say significant I mean probably no more than a few meters. So the engine is mounted to the transom via these clamps in the conventional way, and we actually do have, I haven't actually fitted it yet today, we do have this thing. This is an outboard lock, and what it does is it mounts on here like that. If you align these clamps so that they're horizontal, this will mount and sandwich that. So there's a top and a bottom part, and it locks in place. And what it does is it A, stops the engine from vibrating loose and vibrating the mounts loose, and B, it possibly prevents someone from stealing your outboard. Certainly prevents a casual thief from just knocking the clamps off or undoing the clamps. So quite a useful bit of kit. Also on the transom you'll see that we have some transom wheels. Now these are the new Honwave wheels. What I mean by that is they are the wheels that are specifically designed by Honwave to fit the new version of the Honwave boats, so the IE3 boats. They're the ones without the weird trim tabs that used to stick out here. They're pretty good actually. They're a slightly strange design still, in that there still is quite a bit of a swan neck on them. The reason for that, I don't know quite why it has to be quite so so exaggerated, but definitely you do have to clear this. This here. There is still an element of the air deck which sticks out beyond the flat surface of the transom, and it probably sticks out at least 5 mil, maybe a bit more. And so you'd have to be very careful if you wanted to install other types of wheels on the back of this to make sure that there was sufficient clearance for that air deck. Also, you don't want to be drilling into this, because that's where the rubber, the PVC rather, joins the transom. So you want to be above that, which is possibly why they've been designed the way they have. They're fine. They are quite robust. We walk half a kilometre with this boat to get it into the river where we live, and they're more than capable of doing that. So they're held in place by these little pins, which I keep carabined to this D-ring that is installed from the factory in the back of the boat. All right, so going round further, you've got some carrying handles here. Now, the fuel tank, I mount it here. You can mount it under the thwart, under the seat that sits across there. I don't, because the fuel line is not long enough for this particular boat, but actually it's fine. I haven't noticed any issues with mounting it there. I do have a spare, or a second fuel can for those days where we're going out for long hours. Now, I haven't actually done one of those days yet, so I don't know if I was going to need it. What I will say is the efficiency of this engine is amazing. I think I used about 4.5 litres in the first 8 hours that I've used it. Now, that was no more than 5 or 6 knots really, so probably not surprising. I don't know what the efficiency is going to be like when I open it up and do 20. So given that we do want to do some quite adventurous and long passages, I thought I'd get a spare can just in case, and that's something that will sit under the thwart there. May not ever need it, but better to be safe than sorry. All right, so the fuel mounted there, lines connected in. I mentioned earlier we are using this boat on the River Thames in Buckinghamshire, and we're also using it at Poole Harbour and other places. So if you use a boat on the river, you need to go through locks, and therefore you need to have some quite long lines to secure your boat when you're going through the lock, which is why we have this 10-metre line here. Again, that's just carabined onto that, and that's easy to throw around the bollard and secure the stern of the boat. Oars, as you can see. I'll come back to the stuff that's in the boat in a minute. Now, just a few things that we carry with us when we are going into places like Poole, and we're going to Brownsea Island and all that kind of stuff. We want to be able to leave the boat and go and explore a bit, and so therefore we want to be able to secure the boat to prevent casual theft. And so what I've got here is a decent long length. I think it's about 9 meters of this stuff. It's the stuff that you use for securing your bike, and a decent strong motorcycle lock. So that's how we're going to secure the boat. Coming further forward, I have an anchor. This is a 2 kilo Bruce. I've got 5 meters of chain, 6mm chain, and I have 40 meters of anchor line. And I've put a loop in the line every 5 meters, so I know how much line I've let out. I've also got another 10 meters of the same anchor line there, which has got shackles on either end, should I need to have a sort of a last ditch amount of anchor line. Can't imagine I'm going to anchor in anything other than very shallow water, if at all, but better to have it than not. The method of anchoring I stole from a guy. I'll link to his channel in the description, and so I've been kind of watching his videos, and he's got a great way of setting up his anchor, which I've freely stolen, so thank you. 4 or 5 meter length of rope. One end of it is attached to a D-ring here with a carabiner, the other end attached on the other side there, and then the rope is then passed up through here. A carabiner is then attached to the other end. What then happens is you throw your anchor over the side, over the front, pay out your chain, and then depending on the depth of the water that you're in, you let out a sufficient amount of the yellow anchor line, and when you're happy with the right depth, you clip this to the loop that's tied into the anchor line, and that then goes overboard like that. And so effectively what you're doing is, you're, rather than anchoring off of this one little anchor point here, you've got 3 points of connection to the boat, which seems far more robust and sensible to me. When you then come to pull your anchor in, you then pull on the yellow line, which will be hanging over the front of the boat, and you can then pull that over the roller, of course, if you want to protect the edge of the boat. And once that's out of the water, you can uncleat it from the yellow loop, and then continue to pull it in. And everything lives in this bucket, keeps it safe, keeps it from damaging the boat. Makes a huge amount of sense to me. This I would normally attach to one of the D-rings inside the boat, so that it's secure and not just attached to the end of the bucket. This is another 10 meter line, like the one at the back. This is securing the front of the boat when we're going through a lock, or when we're just moored up against a pontoon or whatever. So just attached up to there, and that makes that nice and easy. What else have we got in here? Yeah, this orange dry bag here, which is secured to one of the D-rings, that contains a pump, just in case. It also contains a repair kit, and that's about it at the moment. It might also at some point contain, dry clothes or whatever else we want to put in, a first aid kit, or whatever else we might want to put in. Kind of should go without saying, really, you shouldn't really have anything loose in the boat. So everything that we have in here is secured to a D-ring, so should we flip or whatever, we don't lose any of it. I haven't tried this yet, but this is a tiller extension, and it simply attaches to the end of the tiller like that, screws it in place, and then allows you to control the boat from quite a long way forward. So this is its least extended point, so I could be sitting here steering the boat, but it will also extend out quite significantly further, so I could conceivably be up here. Why is that important? Well, if you're on your own and you want to get weight forward in the boat, especially when you want to plane, otherwise the boat is going to come up too much. So that is something which I haven't tried yet. We bought it, we thought it might be useful. I think it was only 20 quid off Force 4, I think. So it may not be any good, but we'll try it. Conventional kill cord, obviously a very important bit of safety kit. Because though we might be using a tiller extension, I've just attached this extra bit, which will allow me to kind of be down here and still be attached to the kill cord. So that's why that's there. Stuff that you should have out with you on the boat as an absolute must. One of these. This is a Crew Saver life jacket. It's one of the self-inflating kind. It's so unobtrusive to wear it, and if it comes into contact with water, it will not only keep you floating, but it will keep you floating the right way up. It's just a must-have. So please have one. The only other thing that we take with us, not on the river because there's no need for it, but when we go out on out into the Poole Harbour or beyond, is a marine VHF, just a portable VHF. Now you need to have your SRC qualification for that. I did mine just recently. It's not difficult at all to do, but strongly advise you to have one of those if you're going out on coastal waters. Mobile phones aren't good enough. They just don't have the coverage. Apart from that, I've already mentioned the launching wheels at the front, and we've got this amazing bit of kit at the front here, which enables us to move the boat around really easily. But you can see here that the clamp just fits on the attachment that's already on the boat, and then the hull just sits on those two protected aluminium tubes, and the wheels are under there, and you can just literally pull it along, push it along, and it's fantastic. What we do is when we're moving this boat around, typically my wife will be at the front here, and she'll be steering and not really doing much else other than just keeping the boat going where we want it to go, and then I'll be at the back giving it the power that it needs. And honestly, it doesn't need very much. It's surprisingly hard work if you don't have something like this at the front to move this boat about any long distance, especially if you're on your own. It's doable, but it's anything that can make life easier is good for me. So I think that's it. We have only used this boat for about 8 hours so far. We've been super pleased with it. It's really stable. You can quite happily stand up in it and move about, and so that's great, and it's comfortable. I'm sure, because it's not fundamentally changed from all the other Honwaves, that it'll be amazing when we get it out on the wider stretches of water, when we can really crank this open, and now it's gone through its braking pretty much, we'll be able to wind up the revs. Really pleased with the engine. It's very quiet at idle. It's very smooth. So far we've found that it sips the fuel, so and it's great. So really pleased with it. All things being equal, it's a cracking boat, and I'll perhaps do another video at some point about why we chose this boat. Yeah, if you're in the market for something like this, you can't go far wrong as far as I'm concerned. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave nothing. If you want to ask any questions, stick them in the comments. If you'd like me to make any other videos about this boat, then please drop that in the comments as well. I will do something with us actually on the water, so you can see what it's like, and you'll get a sense of how well it goes. All right, take care.